Hi everyone, I'm Marion Campbell. I coordinate QFT learning, and I'm going to give you an overview of QFT. Some of you may not be familiar with Queen's Film Theatre, the rationale behind the volunteer programme, and give you a few examples of the placements and activities that QFT runs for volunteers. I'd certainly like to echo what Paul said there, that volunteering really has to be mutually beneficial, I like that, for the volunteer and the organisation, in this case QFT. I just want to let you know that there's the website address down there. If you don't know about QFT, this is the published programme that comes out every month, and this is the programme. I've brought some of these along there at the table. A programme that volunteers have been involved with for young people, and all the events are happening this weekend, so it's all very exciting. We've got Colin Morgan, who plays Merlin in TV and everything, coming this weekend. QFT runs a range of events. It's a non-profit organisation. It is part of Queen's University. It's supported by Northern Ireland Screen, Belfast City Council and Europa Cinemas. It receives very small grants really compared with other cultural cinemas in the rest of the UK. And as with most organisations, I'm sure Anne is well aware of that from the MAC, that there are limited resources for staff, and we have a very small team of very dedicated staff. A recent sponsorship by Jameson has enabled QFT to expand its programme. So we've seen a lot higher admissions in the last couple of months, really. So that's been a really positive development. However, last year was a slightly leaner year, and we were looking then at cutting expenditure and again trying to involve more volunteers at QFT. I'm just going to... So we're the only cultural cinema in Northern Ireland, and it was founded in 1969, and there you can see the old front of QFT there. The new entrance is at the front of the Mews. Okay, so I just want to kind of look at the staff structure of QFT and just show you where the volunteers have become involved. QFT wanted to attract more people last year to join QFT to actually work at the cinema. We have two volunteers placement positions in the office, but really, as I mentioned, we needed to look at involving more volunteers. So although I would have to emphasise that we weren't taking people's jobs away, because that's one of the fears I think that volunteers had when they came to talk to us about volunteering. Are we taking people's jobs away? It's not taking people's jobs away, it is improving the service that we can offer, because there isn't the money there to recruit more staff anyway. So as you can see here, we have a volunteer working in marketing, and she works 3 times a week in the office and has just done her MSc in film studies. So being attached to Queen's is really good, because we have loads of film students who are looking for some experience for their CV, and she has some really, as a lot of young people do, really good IT skills and social networking kind of experience. So she works there with Sarah. Then I have a volunteer who just started, and more about her later. That's Fiona Hutchinson, works 1 morning a week. And then you'll see on the bottom line there, we have now a pool of casual staff and volunteers that work at QFT, mostly in the evening. And they would work usually once a month in the evenings, and it's typically about a 6-hour shift. So just a little bit about what Claire would do with Sarah in the office. Promotions here, and the web and social media, promoting the events that we organise. Then there are the posters, the programmes that I just showed you, and we need to contact sort of community groups and specialist groups in terms of that end of things. And then we also work with different businesses and in terms of PR, run competitions in the media and do a lot of press-related work. So that's me. I work with the schools and community groups to promote screenings at QFT, and we run a year-round programme of events for primary and post-primary schools. So all the events will support the national curriculum. We also deliver film workshops and talks, post-film discussions, really to engage an audience with film, the kind of films that we show at QFT. So we're talking movies, words and picture discussion groups. And again, the volunteer that works with me will be involved in many aspects of this. The takeover film I mentioned before, we have 2 volunteers working on this film project. It started in September, so they're getting to make films to actually create their own programme of events. So we've got young people from 15 to sort of 23 literally taking over QFT. And again, volunteers are involved with that end of things. And as I mentioned, they're going to be meeting, people like Colin Morgan and Marty McCann, who's doing an acting workshop. And so we're getting to do all the kinds of things that they maybe would never normally get to do in their normal job or if they're retired and at home. And I'll talk a bit more about the older volunteers in a moment. And then we work with partner organisations such as Cinemagic. We run many joint events, and there are many partners that QFT would work with. And again, the volunteer that works with me in the office would quite often get out and meet these people. So again, it's another useful sort of networking skill that they will learn and can put on their CV. Lorraine Orr is the front of house manager, and she ensures that the venue runs smoothly. She also manages the front of house staff and volunteers. So Lorraine Orr is really the first point of contact then at the QFT. She coordinates the applications and the training sessions for the front of house staff. And typically in an evening, if somebody was working at the cinema, the volunteers would also need to be able to meet and greet customers and ensure that they're happy with their visits. So that is part of what they would be involved with. So getting down then to how we work with the volunteers, and QFT designed an application form that people that are interested in volunteering can complete. So this is a really vital step because it gives the prospective volunteers information about what is available, and it helps us to then see if they have the skills that can be matched. So it's really important to match this person with something that is going to be beneficial to the volunteer and to QFT. And as I mentioned, sorry, I should go back to that again. Whenever they're found a position, we have a one-to-one meeting with the volunteer, with the line manager of that particular area. So whether it be myself in learning, Sarah in marketing, or Lorraine for front of house. Because really, need to make sure that they're totally happy with everything that is expected of them. And then when they go to a training session, they will learn more about what is required, but also what QFT can offer as support and QFT's role. So they will find out about the volunteer policies and procedures. So obviously this all has to be in place before you start to recruit. The recruitment at the moment, we haven't registered with Volunteer Now. We were talking about the website. For the simple reason that Sarah was very keen to involve people that are already sort of in contact with QFT and are aware of the programme, but I think it's certainly a route that we could go down. We have had so many applications. I mean, people that are interested in the films that we would show, very keen to come and volunteer, so we don't always have enough positions available for them to get involved. And of course, with the current job market, we're seeing really highly skilled people wanting to come on board. We've got an MSc graduate at the moment working with us. So 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 then we have a child protection policy, which is very important that they're aware of as well at this training session. Then after they have been with us for a while, we would have a feedback and follow-up discussion approximately 4 to 6 weeks after the placement, depending on how regularly they are working. And again, this is a one-to-one, and it's an opportunity to look at what other areas they might like to get involved with, what they might like to achieve in the future. They may not be aware of all the activities that are going on at QFT, may have skills that they think that, or training that they might like to avail of. And one of the things that they can do, which is part of the activity that I offer to the youth panel, which runs all year, and the Takeover Project, which has run all autumn, is the EDI VRQ accreditation in creative and cultural practice. And they're currently doing level 2, and there are 4 units. It's totally paperless, no exams. Basically, if you work in a creative or cultural organisation, they're already doing their units of work as they're actually working at QFT. So another useful thing for their CV, and QFT is now an accredited centre, so I would actually organise those sessions with them, and it has been going very well so far. So am I running out of time now? No. Yes, as I mentioned, many of the volunteers are students at Queen's. And I just want to talk a little bit about one particular student who volunteers at Queen's, with us from Queen's. And she's gained really good experience with her time at QFT, and she's demonstrated some really good coordination skills. She joined the youth panel as a mentor. She had done an MSc. This is a different student, Laura Shearer, who'd done an MSc at Queen's, and she became a mentor on this takeover project that we've been running this autumn. She was selected then to represent QFT in Paris at a film festival recently, and this is organised by a partner from a QFT partner that I've been working with for a few years now, based in Paris, and it's called Cinema du Palais. They get a big grant from the Ministry of Culture, which is lovely. So they paid for her to go over, actually 2 people. One of them wasn't a volunteer, one was on the youth panel. So again, another amazing opportunity. And that group of young people will be coming over from France that they will have met to work on a short film with a professional filmmaker. So there's so many different things that people can get involved with that QFT is doing, that, if they're showing the enthusiasm and so forth and the commitment, there's no end to what they can learn and do. So my final example is the volunteering for the over 50s, which really took me by surprise. And the volunteer now offered to support QFT on a taster session for the over 50s. Now, Volunteer Now has been brilliant, has given QFT a lot of support over the years in different ways. Now, the QFT team, apart from myself, is comparatively young. We have a lot of Queen students, as I mentioned, especially the paid staff that work at front of house are quite young. So, I think it's really we thought that it would be really beneficial, and it has turned out to be very beneficial to have a wider age range involved. And so on the hottest summer's day that you could imagine, probably in July, we had 26 people coming, and they looked, well, they must be the new, the 50s is the new 40s, isn't it? Because they were just an amazing group of people who came. We gave them an overview of QFT. I wonder, do I need to do something here? Yes, sorry, I forgot to. Yes, just to say that they bring a wealth of expertise. They also bring a balance to QFT in terms of the age range of staff there. So after we gave them an overview of QFT, the prospective volunteers heard from 2 of our existing volunteers, kind of, how useful and enjoyable they'd found the experience. We didn't have to prep them; they just came up with this. It was brilliant. And Fiona Hutchinson, who attended this taster session, works at a school part-time, And she was there, and she came, and she was very interested in getting involved with QFT learning. And of course, her knowledge of the school system and working in a school was super. And she had previously worked in a bank, so she had a lot of kind of admin experience as well. And Fiona started working with me 3 months ago, and has been a real pleasure to have on the team. She's worked in the office doing some admin, and I've taken her out to meetings and different events. She's assisted me with film workshops. She's met Kendall Loach's producer, Rebecca O'Brien. She's done all sorts of amazing things. She was looking for something different, and I have given her varied and interesting tasks to do, rather than the boring jobs that nobody wants to do. So, sorry, this doesn't quite click. So, yes, forgot to mention that the people who attended were given information packs on how to apply at the end of the taster session. So, going back to Fiona, she hoped to be here today, but unfortunately she wasn't able to come because she works in a school in the afternoon. So I actually interviewed her. She suggested that I would record her on film, which I've done. Unfortunately, we only had a little mini DV cam, which the sound isn't great, but I mean it is, I think, gives you a flavour. It's only 30 seconds long. I just thought it might be nice for you to hear what she has to say. I've personally found it really rewarding to work with enthusiastic volunteers like the people I have just talked about, and enjoy giving them these new opportunities and challenges. And of course QFT, as Paul was saying, the organisations really do benefit. We certainly wouldn't be able to provide the wide range of events and staff them as we do, and you'll see if you have a look at the programme there are a wide range of events that we organise. So that's all from me. Sorry, I went out of sync a little bit at the end there. I just got carried away talking about Fiona because she's so great. That's all from me, and I'm going to leave you with some feedback from Fiona, and hopefully you'll be able to hear what she has to say.
And before I joined, I assumed I would be sitting in an office doing admin duties. And yes, I do sit in the office and do admin duties. I make up packs and change the PowerPoint for the next talking movie and things. But Marion has been great, and she's asked me would I like to come along and join her in some of the events. So we both will go along to the QFT there at the Film Theatre, and there I'd meet and greet the schools and hand out the packs and update their email addresses, or just check that there's, just to keep us updated in our database. Also, Marion's asked me if I'd like to come along and observe in the takeover film. That takes place on Thursday evening, and that has been very, very interesting and all new to me. Since joining the QFT, it's really opened my eyes as just as to how much work does go on behind the scenes to organise events, and just how much they can offer to the schools. So far I've really enjoyed myself and met loads of very nice people, and long may it continue. Thank you.